then they have their Bob to go to if they have questions of things that come up after those 8 weeks that they haven't seen before. We have everybody reviewing everything, so we can tell if they're not doing something right or not. But we always, during that 8-week training, we point them towards the intranet, our intranet site. And so we use 5 steps of training where they read about something, either in the ops manual or in a training program. Then they discuss it with their Bob or divisional trainer. Then they watch the trainer do it. Then they do it themselves, and then they get evaluated on it. So hopefully during an 8-week course of training, they would see just about everything they're going to see in a center and be ready for it. But if not, we teach them to go to that intranet or to call their divisional trainer or call the central ops person and get an answer. Okay, well, we provide training for that up front during the 8 weeks. I actually have example fraudulent documents that our loss prevention managers have given to me, and we have those and point out what to look for, such as the popcorn effect, which is where somebody takes tape and places it over something and then uses whiteout to cover up something else. And you can see the bubbles if you look at the copies they've made. That's called the popcorn effect. We teach them to look for that. We teach them what to look for on a correct bank statement, for example. You know, the numbers should all be numbers. The decimals should line up. There should be, you know, the customer's name on it, the bank name, those kinds of things. But if they do run across something that's odd, they are taught to contact their divisional director and fax it to them and have a second set of eyes look at it so that they can tell for sure, is it a legal document or is it not? And then they can go from there on what they need to do with that customer.
So the answer isn't always, you know, that cut and dry. So for us, our processes tend to separate by department. So we've got litigation teams, we have teams that do trust and estates, and then we also have teams that do transaction. And within those different types of law, there are different types of processes within each of those. So things really they can really get granular very fast, and it can be difficult to iron down those processes. One of the things that has always been a challenge for us is to find ways to collect the information and to put it in places where others can access it well and quickly. You don't always want to call the help desk and wait for them to answer. You don't always want to call the trainers and see if they can show you. Sometimes you just want to do it yourself. And I think that also speaks to Ray's question about whether training or learning happens informally or formally. So I think that finding a place to store the information is also helpful, not always needing to have a person in every location, but having a bucket where people can go and they know that the information is there if they want to grab it on their own or if they want to add to it themselves.
But there's basically a knowledge base that already exists within the workers in your company. The folks that have already been there before, the folks that have been, managers or in different positions if you're going to a different role. So some companies are utilizing your own workforce for the training. So there's spaces where you can write into a chat within your own company. I'm looking for this form to do this. I don't know what I'm doing. And you get kind of a crowd response back. So here's what I would do. This is what I did. Try this form. And you get kind of an instantaneous response.